And now on Mike the VA, it's the moment you've been waiting for. Sit down and relax as Mike talks about an iconic PlayStation 2 title. This is Fame Academy. Pop music is huge. There have been many genres of music that has been created ever since donkeys ago. But from back then, and even now, pop music is one of the most successful genres in music. And back in the 2000s, at least here in the United Kingdom, pop music was experiencing an all-time high, no doubt thanks to the success of the Spice Girls in the 90s. After all, they paved the way for such acts like Girls Aloud, Atomic Kitten, and the Sugar Babes, amongst others. Also Blue, but who the hell remembers those guys?
Now, anyone can become a successful musician, but only if they played their cards right can that musician become successful and, go platinum. But, what if they were to compete on some kind of music-themed reality TV show where they could accrue loads of fame and fortune?
Well, in 2001, a business mogul from the Netherlands going by John de Mol Jr. created a show called Star Academy, where people would compete in a televised competition to perform songs before a judging panel, and whoever wins gets money and a recording contract. It was a money-making idea, one that paid off for him, as a whole host of other countries imported this concept and did their own spin on it, including France, Germany, Spain, and even non-EU countries like Canada. But for this video, we're strictly focusing on the UK's iteration of Star Academy, known as Fame Academy. It was picked up by the BBC in 2002, and it ran for 2 seasons that aired across the flagship BBC One channel, as well as sister channel BBC Three. Its first season lasting from October 4th to December 6th of that year, while the second went from July 26th of 2003 to October 4th of 2003, exactly a whole year after the first season had launched. In fact, for the launch of Season 1, BBC One made a new ident for their rhythm and movement package involving some pretty hot dancers performing some sick moves in a scene that was reminiscent of a music video. Now, what exactly happened on this show? Basically, a few contestants were picked from a pool of 12,000 candidates to spend 10 weeks at the titular academy. There the contestants, or students as they were referred to, were taught the basics of writing and composing music, and they also took on dance classes and developed their vocal technique from professional tutors. Their exploits were constantly filmed via security cameras, a la another popular UK TV show of the day, Big Brother, and the students couldn't even leave the academy without supervision. Eventually, on Friday night, they would perform either their original songs or covers of existing songs chosen by the production crew to a live audience, as watched over by host Patrick Kilty and Kat Deely, and, of course, the judges as well, who would review the students' performance and give feedback on what they liked and didn't like about the performance. After all the students performed their songs, the public would vote via phone to determine who would get booted from the show, and whoever got the least votes, well, got fucked. This kept up for weeks on end until there was only one contender left, and the grand prize included a £1 million record contract, a luxury London apartment, and a sports car, which they had for a whole year.
And in case you want to know who won, it was David Snedden. Then in the follow-up season, Alex Parks won. Now this show was sort of successful amongst the target audience. I mean, critics weren't especially over the moon about this show. But despite these mixed reviews, it managed to get a spin-off known as Comic Relief Does Fame Academy, a version of the show made specifically for the UK televised charity event Comic Relief. And it was the same thing as the main show, but with celebrities. But what you guys are wanting to know, however, is what the hell's this got to do with the video game?
Throughout the early 2000s, the BBC was on a roll licensing out their IPs to various video game companies in order to make some quick cash. And you'll never guess what? Fame Academy just so happened to be one of them. They gave the rights to Monte Cristo Multimedia, a French gaming studio formed in 1995 that published games who would contact fellow French gaming studio Widescreen Games, the lads who also made Dead to Rights 2 of all games amongst others, to develop the game. Their goal was to make a game that would represent the IP at its best, provide some unique and interesting ideas that would help it stand out from the crowd, and be beloved by generations of Brits across the entire nation. And so, on November 21st, 2003, a short while after the second season wrapped up, the game dropped on PlayStation 2 and PC in the United Kingdom, and it would be hailed as a fucking masterpiece.
It was utter shit. Hey! At least let me play the fucking game before cutting me off like that! God!
You know, watching this intro sequence again, it's kind of given me some vague memories of when I watched it as a kid. But then again, I was 6 when this dropped, and I think my sisters watched it more often than I did. I do remember watching the Comic Relief 2005 special, since I remember radio presenter Edith Bowman won that one, and I used to listen to her on the radio a lot as a kid. Coming to the main menu, we find ourselves looking at 3 main modes. We have Career, the game's main campaign, Rehearsal, which is the game's tutorial, and Multiplayer, which we'll ignore. For now though, we'll just go into Rehearsal mode. Before that though, we find ourselves at the character select screen where we can choose between 10 characters, equally divided between the men and the women. We can also choose which costume we want the character to wear, though there's only so many variations beyond the default one. Why don't we meet them all, huh? I'm sure there'll be someone good enough to play as.
So, you think you can take the stage and win the hearts of young, impressionable audience members? To get through me first before you can do that. Go on now, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm a student who's studying law because I want to follow my dad's footsteps. But not really, because music is my passion. I don't care about law. I just want to sing, dance, get all the fame. After all, that's why I'm here. Should I tell you about my boyfriend as well, because he's so...
Next!
I'm a suave dude who loves to talk. Not just that, but I love to talk music. Seriously, I'm totally obsessed with music. Did I mention I love music? Hey, it's better than politics. God, my parents are not shut up about politics.
Next!
My mama abandoned me when I was young, and my papa has to work to provide for us, and he's not even there most of the time. The only comfort I get is when I do hip-hop with my crew. It's the only way I can feel alive. And if hip-hop can save me from my troubles, then...
Thank you. Next!
I've got a good family. Yeah, we sometimes struggle with money, but who cares? I got friends and my love of capoeira. Thanks, Road. Anyway, recently my friends love the way I sing, and they recommended me for the show. So here I am, ready to...
Next!
I love my life. Perfect friends. Good grades. Especially in music. An amazing college where I can express my love of music. I wish my parents didn't spoil me too much, though. It feels embarrassing. I've made previous appearances on TV before. Doing this show would be another great...
Next!
I don't want my grandma to die. She's this talented musician who taught me songs of the past century on the piano when I was young. And I want to support her in every step of the way, even more than busking on the streets with my friends. No way will I let my grandma succumb to this illness.
Oh, that's such a heartwarming story. Everyone will love you. Next!
I've been doing this song and dance for all my life. I mean, that's what happens when you have a famous folk duo for parents. Not that I mind, because I have enough time being on stage during my parents' shows to express my desire for music. Then again, must be all the poetry I've written. Maybe I should write more poems.
No poetry here! Next!
I live and breathe the art of music. In my houseboat, I read books. I listen to my folks' records and I play some instruments. When I can, I put on an amazing performance for a big crowd. And they listen to me as much as I listen to my parents when they talk about how they love teaching kids at school.
Ugh, yes, I understand. You want to be on the show. Next!
After I left home a few years back, I bust my ass off on the fucking streets to make enough easy money. Shit, I got enough to get a job in a fashion house. But now I'm in a fucking band so I can rock people's socks off. I managed to make it here, because when I kicked ass on stage one night at my fashion house, I got noticed by a dude who recommended me this fucking joint. So what the hell, might as well.
God, you children are annoying as sin!
All of you have failed to impress me thus far, and I want perfection! This next candidate better not disappoint!
Yo, I'm CJ, and I'm...
Alright, we'll go with him. I don't even care anymore.
Well, now that we've selected our character, we can jump straight into the tutorial. We're introduced to... dark skin? White tank top? Denim jeans?
You better lock me up, cause otherwise, shut up, let me go, bitch. No, you real tough, bitch. Please, dude, do what you want. But shut up, you can't stop me. Hey, it's a lot of rules out there.
This can't be real. That man is totally CJ from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I mean, for fuck's sake, he literally shares his name. May I remind you all, this game launched in November 2003. This was 11 months before San Andreas hit the scene. Rockstar are hacks! Oh, anyway. We're introduced to our head teacher, Wayne Johnson, and he's heard that we've gotten into the academy, so he resolves to teach us all he can about how to win the show.
Music, maestro,
He says, and we're ready to learn. Now stop me if you've heard of this gameplay before. As the song plays in the background, an arrow pointing in a specific direction flies up the chart. When it reaches one of the two circles depending on which side the arrow is flying up, you have to hit the direction on the D-pad that the arrow is facing in time with the music. Sometimes there'll be two arrows flying up the chart, and when they reach the circles, you have to press the direction on the D-pad the left arrow is facing, and one of the face buttons that corresponds to the direction of the right arrow. Triangle for up, square for left, X for down, and circle for right, in time with the rhythm of the song. The better you do, the more you build up your combo as displayed by a number on the screen, and it resets to 0 should you fuck up a button press. When you hit an arrow in the right direction, the circle will light a different colour depending on your timing. Green is good, yellow is okay, orange is bad, red is horrible, blank means you missed a note. You keep this up until the song is over. It's DDR. It's fucking DDR. It's basically DDR, but it's shit. We continue our training, and Wayne is impressed, but alas, he has other things to do. So he leaves us in the care of another teacher, Riccardo Dini, a rather flamboyant man who really likes CJ's body.
You have a dancer's body. That's a good start.
Yep, his voice actor must have had a ball recording his lines. By the way, I also noticed the obvious splicing in some of his lines.
Now that you've mastered the hip movements, let's spice up the body moves.
Come on, lads. You think I wouldn't notice that? Anyway, he teaches us some more, then he leaves us in the capable hands of another teacher, Roz. Wait a goddamn minute, that's Wayne again!
Liar!
Well, after he teaches us more wisdom of dancing, we're finally good enough to take the stage. Alright, the crowd is pumped up and raring to go. Let's give them a show to remember!
Huh? What the hell? Why are you showing me this? You do realise I need the fucking music in order to play this game. You're not going away, are you?
Yes, dear viewer. Unfortunately, for copyright reasons, I can't play any of the game's music, so, just have to do with the current background music playing right now. Sorry about that. So, CJ dances for our amusement, and the amusement of Los Santos as well, putting all of what he's learnt with his 5 minutes of training into practice. You'll have noticed at the top of the screen, there's a bar that fills up green when you progress through the song. The green in the bar is pretty much what points you've scored out of 100, and as you guessed, the better you do, the higher the score. On top of that, in keeping with the formula of the show, you're also ranked out of how many people are currently in this competition, though it always starts out with 8 people. Whoever's ranked last gets eliminated, so you better do good enough to not get the boot, otherwise you'll be seeing a wall of text that tells you how bad your character fucked up. At the end of the stage, you're shown the ratings on how many arrows you hit, as well as what your overall score is based on the green bar at the top. The judges will then comment on how well you did, either positively or negatively, and then this is followed by the scoreboard, where you see where you've placed. By the way, unless you rank last, it doesn't matter where you ranked, you'll still be able to qualify for the next round. In a couple of instances of when I played as other characters, I ranked second and I still got through. But otherwise, first rank all the way, baby! You keep this up for 6 more rounds after this, and then it's over. only in the final round are you required to rank first in order to win. And when you do, you're treated to a wall of scrollable text that shows how well the character has done. Although, because I've been playing as knockoff CJ, I think his victory screen should be...
And that is the basic gist of this game in a nutshell. Now, why exactly is it a steaming pile of shit?
Now let's not be too negative here, because there are some positives to say about this game. For one, I appreciate the time and attention given to the characters in terms of backstory, trying to flesh them out in order to make them appealing and relatable. Although each of the characters' stories come off as bland and oftentimes really melodramatic. Justin, I'm looking at you, buddy. And hey, it at least follows the source material closely, at least in terms of its structure in the intro movie, because otherwise it looks like any generic rhythm game talent show thing with uninteresting characters. But yes, sadly, the negatives of this game outweigh the positives. For the absolute shits and giggles, I decided to play the whole game all the way through with all of the characters in the hope that I could get some kind of special reward at the end. The more I played this fucking travesty, the more thoughts I was able to accumulate. On the character select screen, you'll notice there are some stars at the top of the screen. These indicate what difficulty you've played on with that character. A bronze star means you did it on easy, silver means normal, and gold means hard. However, this difficulty doesn't matter, as for me, the game was an absolute cakewalk.
Now, I don't want to come across as tooting my horn so hard your ears explode when I say I have amazing rhythm game skills, since I really enjoy playing rhythm games. But to ensure I had enough of a challenge, I exclusively played on the hard difficulty. And even then, I managed to breeze through this game just perfectly fine. I craved for some kind of challenge. And then, I had an idea.
I have an over 2-decade-old dance mat that I got with my PS1 back in the day. Clearly it's seen better days, but it still works, and it works just fine on my PS2, so... there. And fortunately, I was able to get some kind of challenge out of playing this on the dance mat, but the only challenge I got was some of the buttons not registering at times due to the dance mat's age, which fucked me up a little bit. Hey, at least I got a workout, but to make my life a lot easier for myself, I went back to the controller. Yes, it's boring, but it's practical. The arrows move so goddamn slowly up the chart, and that sucks. Compare that to DDR, where the arrows move upwards quickly whilst keeping in time with the music. This allows for quick-paced, snappy responses, and on harder songs, this quick pace will demand you to always keep on your toes, providing some, actual challenge. Here, there's no snap timing, no quick pace, nothing. And while that may sound easy, I wouldn't blame you for thinking that way, because it feels so slow and awkward to play. Also, due to the fact that you have to play through the entire song all the way through, it can feel like a massive slog. DDR keeps its songs to be short, simple, and straight to the point. It's perfect for the arcade experience, as it ensures the player has a good time whilst providing some damn good gameplay. This is even true for when DDR uses licensed music. Not helping matters is that when you build up your combo, on every 10th number, the game decides to shower your character with a little effect on the stage. That sounds cool, but unfortunately the game's frame rate decides to shit the bed when these effects happen, and it can throw you off your timing, causing you to easily miss notes. And this is especially true whenever lots of notes come one after the other, as you're guaranteed to miss those, and it can be so frustrating if you're trying to go for a full combo. DDR had all the effects on the screen from the background video, and yet it managed to keep its frame rate rock solid throughout. And this specific DDR game being shown here, I have on the PS1. What the fuck, PS2?
What about the microphone? Surely this game has microphone support?
Well, you'd be right. It does. And I do in fact have a USB microphone for when I got Guitar Hero World Tour on the Nintendo Wii. Despite the fact that this mic is compatible on a number of other gaming systems besides the Wii, including the PS2, unfortunately it didn't work in this game. Though considering when this game came out, I'm not too surprised. If anything, I should have bought those SingStar microphones instead. When you dance in the game, you can sing along to the song of your choice when the microphone graphic appears in the pink circle above the other two circles. I'd recommend doing this if you're playing with the dance mat, because playing with the controller while singing can be uncomfortable or awkward to play depending on your setup. After all, you will be judged on how well you sing. And here's the thing. This is a rhythm game adaptation of an old BBC TV show where the contestants are primarily singing in addition to dancing like idiots on stage. And yet this game relegates the singing to an additional add-on in the options menu. Why? Isn't singing the primary focus of the contestants? Wouldn't it make a lot more sense to rip off something like Karaoke Revolution as opposed to DDR? The main campaign is repetitious, and oh boy, the main campaign is repetitious! No matter which character you choose, they all share the same progression path. And what I mean by that is, you have to go through the same songs each time in the exact same order with little variation. Why not do something like Classic Mode in Super Smash Bros. Melee, where each fight is completely randomized every time you play that mode? I mean, here you only have whatever songs you're given, but why not randomize the order each time? Further showcasing the repetition is the similar backdrops for the stages, and each character doing the same animation for each song. It makes sense that the charts for the songs are the same, but why not vary the stages a bit? You know, give it a bit more life and personality. Also, maybe tie into the characters' personalities a bit by having different animations for that character, like Sonya, who does hip-hop. You know, make her breakdance the fuck out of the floor. Oh. And be prepared to watch the same cutscenes over and over before and after each song, all with the same generic "we couldn't license Patrick Kilty's likeness" announcer, complete with the same monotonous VO over and over until the final stage. Now, granted, you can skip these cutscenes, but if you don't, well...
The moment has come, the moment has come, the moment has come, the moment has come. It's showdown time!
Furthermore, when the campaign ends, you're treated to a scrollable wall of text showing how well your character has done. Seriously? No little ending clips of, say, your character holding a trophy and creepily smiling to the audience whilst waving? Would have been much, but it's better than fucking this! And on top of all that, each of the characters' ending texts are all very similar to one another. Let me sum up each character's winning text in a nutshell. You've won! How do you feel? I practiced a lot. What are your plans for the future? Make people happy with my new album. We can't wait! This is also the case for when your character fails, as I showed earlier. The only difference in these texts is how it relates to the character's story, but that's ultimately not enough to save this shit. In my opinion, I have mixed feelings about this game's soundtrack. First of all, tying into the repetitious campaign, each character has to go through 7 songs, 14 in total, but here's the thing. Depending on which character you choose, you're only limited to songs sung by the same gender as your character. In other words, and no, I'm not referencing Fly Me to the Moon here, you can't choose a song sung by a female singer while playing as a male character or vice versa. Combined with the lack of any randomized elements with the song selection, that's just lazy as all shit. Now, what songs are in this game, you might ask? For the boys, you have Word Up, Come Back to Me, Get Down Saturday Night, Dancing on the Ceiling, Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting, Carnivalera, and Inflate My Ego. Meanwhile, for the girls, you get When You Look at Me, Get Over You, Music is the 1T ODC Episode 1, yes, that's what it's called, Put Him Out, She Works Hard for the Money, Summer Sun, and finally... Now, I will admit, there are a couple of songs on this game's soundtrack that I'd say are certified bangers, namely Word Up and Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting. But me personally, I'm more of a rock punk metal guy, so most of these songs don't really do much for me. Even so, I do question some of the song choices here. For one, of all the songs by Sophie Ellis-Bextor you could have gone for, why Get Over You? As far as I recall, her biggest hit at the time was Murder on the Dance Floor, and it's still big now considering its appearance at the end of last year's Saltburn, but wouldn't that have been the better choice for a game like this? Especially considering it's a lot more catchy of a song than Get Over You is. Also, why Inflate My Ego for Daniel Bedingfield when, you know, he's the guy behind Gotta Get Through This, another popular song of the day? Don't get me wrong, I like Inflate My Ego with its grungy sound and badass riff, but, you know, come on, lads. There are also some songs in here that I think would suit a different rhythm game than this one, since I'd personally prefer to rock out to the song than dance to it. I mean, I'd much rather fire up Guitar Hero 5 on my Wii and play Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting with my Guitar Hero controller. Finally, I understand the ultimate reason why we got the songs that we got was due to what song was available and affordable for the budget for the team to license, but there are some big missed opportunities for certain songs to be included, and I can suggest a few. How about Summer Romance Anti-Gravity Love Song? Or maybe Love Fool? What about a big well-known hit like Never Gonna Give You Up? Fuck it, throw Plastic Love in there too, why not?
Well, I've done it at last. The final song complete with the final character of the game. My character wins the competition and I get the obligatory victory text. So I better get a sweet reward now that I've beaten the game on hard with all of the characters.
That's it? That's fucking it? I put in all that work and all I got was a fart back to the main menu? No special costumes? No extra stages? No bonus video clips? Not even a special congratulation your winner message?
Nope! Nothing! The only other mode in this game is multiplayer, which I didn't test for this video because I'm a lonely sod. But I assume it's the main game, but with 2 people! I don't fucking care anymore. This game is shit. It's a bland, boring, soulless, and lazy DDR ripoff. Ugh. And you know what? I have the perfect Simpsons clip to further sum up my feelings for this game!
I work hard for the money. So hard for the money. Oh, I something money. Come on, give me lots of honey. So hard for the turntable.
So what happened next? Well, as I pointed out at the beginning of this video, the show lasted only 2 seasons and got a mixed critical reception. It attracted about 3.6 million viewers, and the final episode of Season 2 attracted 8 million viewers. There was a rival show on rival channel ITV1 that aired around the same time as Fame Academy called Pop Idol. Essentially, it's the original British version of American Idol, or your country's equivalent. And that show was routinely kicking Fame Academy's ass 6 ways to Sunday, with ratings as high as 10 million views. And the live final of Season 2 attracted 13 million views. That show's legacy lives on, as the British public fondly remembers acclaimed singer and Pop Idol Season 1's winner Will Young more so than either of Fame Academy's winners. And even though Fame Academy was killed after 2 seasons, it had a few comic relief specials between 2003 and 2007. But it wasn't enough for the BBC, hence why they eventually killed it off for good. The game, meanwhile, was rightfully trashed. The only review of this game that I was able to find online was official PlayStation 2 Magazine UK's review from issue 41, where they awarded it 30% and said it was an abysmal, clueless version of a horrible TV series interpreted through the medium of dance. You know what, though? I'd like to see Mr. Sir Benjamin Potter, the first Esquire, and Mr. Sir Peter Austin of the YouTube channel Triple Jump do a Worst Games Ever episode on this game, even if they can't play the game's music. If you ask me, it'd be a great episode.
Just saying, lads, it's worse than most. Now, since I have nothing else to say, this game's made me feel a bit sick, so I think I'm gonna go lay down and die.
Hey there everybody! Don't forget to like the video and comment on it. If you want to keep up to date with all of my videos, click that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Share this video around where you can, and follow me on socials with the links below.